Oh, right. Now, a lawsuit has been filed challenging the constitutionality of the 2022 law in Washington that allows the AG's office to change the wording of a ballot title that appears next to an initiative. In this case, we're talking about Initiative 645, the initiative aimed at potentially repealing the income tax. So, this is what's called the PIID. This is the Public Investment Impact Disclosure, and that's required on ballot statements, but they're supposed to be neutral. It's supposed to not be something that says, if you pass this, the sky will fall. If you pass this, all these horrible things will happen. It's supposed to be a very neutral ballot statement. But the lawsuit challenge here and others contend that it's anything but neutral. And so Arthur West is the name of the gentleman who has filed. Last Friday, he filed in Thurston County Superior Court a lawsuit taking issue with the disclosure statements, basically saying you can't amend an initiative on the ballot with these public disclosure statements because voters who signed these petitions to qualify this for the ballot had the subject title and a subject description of what it would accomplish if they pass it. If they pass it, now that's being amended on the ballot to say something. In addition to that, by the way, if you pass this, it's going to take away all this other funding because the PIID for this initiative will basically says on there, if you pass this, if you say yes to repeal the income tax, it will cut funding for public education. It will cut funding for higher education. It will cut funding for health insurance programs. When in fact, that is an inaccurate statement, opponents say. And that is because only 5% of income tax revenues are dedicated to the Fair Start for Kids program. The other 95%, lawmakers can do whatever they want with it. They can put it in the general fund and dedicate it to whatever pet program for whatever year they have. There was zero guarantee in the way the income tax law was written that any of those funds are dedicated to education, whether it's K through 12, higher ed, or then to healthcare programs. And so that's the kind of the gist of the lawsuit. So here is Arthur West talking about some recent polling that was done within the last couple of years. So when you put up these public disclosure statements on the ballot next to an initiative, he said the polling shows that dramatically how changes how voters are going to respond to that initiative question.
Some polling that's been done that shows that this type of a disclosure statement in three other initiatives dropped support by 14 to 19%, which is just fatal to any measure. So this is not a neutral disclosure type law. This is a law that was designed to make tax initiatives impossible, and there's polling that shows that that's what the effect is. So this is a rather heavy-handed attempt by the Democrats to derail the Republican use of the initiatives to mess with their taxes. And that's been a dynamic, for 30 years, I've seen this dynamic play out with.
Now, Mr. West was headed to the court just after our interview this Monday morning, and he was hoping to get an expedited review. Potentially, you said August the 7th for the court to consider this because if they choose to intervene, there's a very narrow window. August the 21st is the deadline for ballots and voter pamphlets to be printed out for the general election. It's that soon because, of course, we have ballots to be sent overseas to members of the military and other folks who are out of the country. So get those ballots filled out for the primary if you've not yet done so. It's 1 week from tomorrow. I wanted to tease you that I'm going to share part of an interview that I did today. I'm going to use it in tomorrow's episode of Washington Focus Daily with Julie Wise from the Office of King County Elections because I wanted to ask her. So, what a returns looks like so far, how great of a return you expect overall. And she told me as of today, 7% of ballots had been returned. So it's pretty low, but they expect it to be up around 45% when all is said and done. But you need to get those ballots filled out sooner rather than later. Um, yeah, I know a lot of folks have questions about the integrity of the election system, some questions based on what we found out about last week in New Jersey with all of the non citizens who went in to get uh, driver's licenses and then were automatically registered to vote. So I asked her about that. So I encourage you to check out tomorrow's episode for a lot more.